Yogaxpress. My name is Banu. I'm your host for this program. Today we have a very special guest for you. We have two special guests, but one of them is actually going to take you through some very simple stretches. And as you know, our tagline is moving the body to still the mind. So you're not going to be hanging from ceilings or climbing walls. I'm going to save introducing our special guest for just a few moments. Before that, I'd like to introduce Josiane Heard to my left. Josiane was my director in a number of episodes, and now she has chosen to stretch with us on the mat. And to my immediate right, to my right, we have Chris Temple. Chris is going to take us through some very simple stretches which will not, and you've promised, Chris, they will not go beyond the parameters of these basic stretches. So those of you who have been watching us for a number of years now, please feel free to join us on the mat. But Chris may be able to make me do a few things that I'm not accustomed to. I don't know. He's a good teacher, an amazing teacher. Chris, before we move on to some stretching, we'd like our viewers to know a little bit about you.
Sure.
So I know you are trained at the advanced teacher training. You've done the advanced teacher training program at Sonic Yoga. You teach at Sonic.
Yes.
You teach at Earth Yoga. And you also teach at another school?
New York Yoga.
New York
Both
Yoga.
their studios where they have a hot studio and a regular temperature studio.
Wow.
All
So-
vinyasa.
All vinyasa.
Yes.
So tell our viewers, in fact, feel free, that's your camera, tell our viewers, what is vinyasa?
Vinyasa basically means to sequence in a specific way with the breath. So everything that you're doing is very breath-based. We never lose sight of making that connection, because when we lose the connection, we find ourselves, as I like to say, holding ourselves hostage in poses. So if we're breathing through the poses, then usually we can maintain peace, we can find further embodiments, but when we stop breathing, usually it creates tension, which just doesn't serve anybody. So
Right.
vinyasa is very much based on, we kind of move through a sequence of postures that add to the openness of the body, which are not just beneficial to what we're doing here on the mat, but as we move through the rest of our lives, then we have that tool as well.
So what you're going to take us through is a practice that's going to help us deal with everyday life as well. So
Absolutely.
we're moving our breath with,
Absolutely.
we're moving with our breath. So we're actually monitoring everything inside of us.
Yes.
And I know that you have a very deep meditative practice as well.
I do.
And I don't think my viewers are ready for the meditation part of it. But
We're
I
not
think
pushing the
your-
meditation on anybody.
but your physical practice itself is very meditative. So I'm hoping that you can take us through a sequence of postures. And I know you've come all prepared. But meanwhile, for those of you who want to look Chris up, he's on Facebook and Instagram.
Correct.
Chris Temple Yoga.
Nice, simple, yeah.
And website is christempleyoga.com.
Correct.
And is it Chris Temple at Gmail or is it Christopher Temple at Gmail?
Chris Temple Yoga. It's all Chris Temple
Temple Yoga.
Just with the
At gmail.com.
Yeah, Chris Temple
So
Yoga,
his
gmail.com.
credits will come up every now and then. You'll see Chris's credits if you want to stay in touch with him. Also at the end of the program. Chris, is there anything else you'd like to add for us, for Josiane and myself, before we start moving, and for our viewers before we start stretching?
Yes. I think that just remembering that we're perfect already. This is super
like that.
important.
I like that.
Right? Because I think a lot of times, especially for people who take on something new, but I've been doing this for a long time, and I tend to forget that when you are embarking on this journey here on the mat, sometimes we approach ourselves, our practice, with a lot of judgment. We're already perfect. Yoga, the only thing yoga is doing is reminding us of that fact. So it's good to be challenged. It's good to step out of our comfort zones because it's an opportunity to grow. But there's really no I can or can't do something. There's just I'm walking towards it. I'm doing the best I can. And as long as I'm doing the best I can, done deal. You're an amazing
And no
human
excuses,
being. No excuses.
I can't give an excuse that I don't have a mat.
No, everything happens for a reason. I don't know what the reason is, but we'll
No,
just
that's
go
fine.
on that.
There is
premises.
a side that I'd like my viewers to know. There's a side to Chris that I didn't know either, even though Chris and I studied in the same school. I did my teacher training at Sonic as well, but I did not know this part about you. Chris, you used to be an audio engineer before.
Well, I've done a few jobs.
Right.
From performing on a ship to being an audio engineer, I
wow.
used to do some
So
singing
what
and
made you-
dancing, which is what got me into yoga in the first place. And then through doing audio engineer work, I just realized that I'm much happier as a human being when I can use my body and communicate with people directly. Years of working in restaurants and bartending, I was like, I need people to get away from me. And then after taking a hiatus of people, I realized that there's a balanced way to have people, be a part of my life. And I definitely feel more myself when I'm around a group of people, especially when we're working towards a common goal, especially when it's something that's basically just making us better people. So I love the fact that yoga, I realized that it helped me tremendously, and because of that, I think it's an amazing gift that I love to be able to share with people who are super athletic and with people who aren't. It doesn't matter. Everyone has something to learn from
Put me in
it.
the second bucket, so you're going to be kind.
Well, we don't know, because we're coming from a place of non-judgment, and you're already perfect. I told you that.
I like that. I like the idea of starting at the point of
absolutely.
perfection.
It's
Right.
positive.
All we have to do is try and keep being perfect.
That's
right?
it, right? That's it.
Josiane, you want to ask Chris anything? You want to add anything before we start stretching?
Yeah, I like to do some to teach me or show me what movement or what asanas I could do for back posture improvement.
Excellent.
Maybe you can add, if that was
Oh,
not part of your
it's-
plan, you can add
yeah,
that in.
But I don't necessarily want to stand on my head.
No.
that won't help your back,
That's a whole nother. We won't do anything too crazy. But what I would say is, the whole idea of yoga, it exists because people wanted to sit much like I am right now and meditate for long periods of time. But about 5 minutes in, they're like, okay, I'm done. My back is killing me. So they're like, well, what could we do to facilitate us being able to find our oneness with themselves, with their higher selves, with the universe? And they came up with yoga. So much about yoga is really all about the core and the spine. The arms and the legs join along for the dance, but pretty much everything that we're doing is focused directly on that.
And I love twist.
Well,
It's
twist.
so good.
Twist,
When I'm
right.
around all the
And if
twist.
Chris has not got
I
that in
think,
his plans,
you know-
you'll work it into your next one.
Oh no, we'll twist
love
for
those.
sure. We'll
Perfect.
twist for sure.
Before I forget my manners, I'd like to thank our director, Sergio Rivera. Sergio, thank you so much. I know you're flying solo today. I also have to thank Josiane because she helped get us started. And of course, our facilitator, our amazing lights and gobo setup by Ryan Stillwagon. I got his name right.
Perfect.
So, Chris, take it away. We're all yours.
So we're just going to be as we are. Finding a nice tall seat, we can close the eyes for a few moments. It's really important to find our center. And what that means is just you put away your to-do lists, you put away anything that's going on in your life to let this moment be the one that you're focusing on, because it's really the only moment we have is now, wherever we're at. So just first thing we do is closing the mouth gently. We start to breathe in and out through the nose, nice and relaxed, nothing contrived, just easy breaths in and out through the nose, creating an awareness. Much of what we're doing now is just simply moving with awareness, a consciousness. So with deep inhales, we start to take the breath deep down into the belly, to the ribs, to the chest, finding a buoyant lift. And then when you exhale, maintaining that lift in the chest, you breathe the belly back to the spine. We call this Uddiyana Bandha. It's an energy lock, but all you need to know is you're pulling your belly back. So inhale, belly, ribs, and chest fill up. And exhale, belly finds the spine. And we'll take this 3 more times. Deep breath in. Allowing your shoulders to remain soft as you exhale. Taking another breath, you get even taller from the seat to the crown of the head. And exhaling out. And if you're not matching me directly with the breath, don't worry, you're just breathing into your own rhythm. Excellent. So you can open your eyes if they're closed, but keep them sleepy, like just half open. We're going to bring our hands onto our knees and start these very simple chest circles. So you're moving your chest parallel to the ground. Don't worry about which direction you chose, because we're going to get an opportunity to go both ways. But just rocking the weight around. You're kind of warming up the spine, getting it ready for some forward folds and twisting.
Is there a particular way we meet the breath with this movement?
Well, just the fact that you're breathing. We want to be long breaths in, long
Thank you for
breaths
that
out.
reminder.
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't really matter quite yet. We'll find some more breath matched movements later, but we just want to make sure that the breath is easy. So if you find that you're going too far in your circles, you might hold out your breath and you can just back away, not taking your circles
Just
so
a little
big.
concerned, my 12-pack is in the ways.
That's quite all right, you know? A little lovin' never hurt anybody. So you can join the head in for the ride. So as you go back, the head might look up. As you go forward, the head might look down. When you go left, it goes left, right,
It's almost
etc.
hypnotic.
Yeah, it's good. We're just finding the pulsation. We like to call this a moving meditation. Again, as promised, I won't push any meditation on anybody, but doing this in itself kind of creates a peace and an awareness in the body. So let's go ahead and take that the other direction. Just circling it around. Again, the head
Feels
joins
good,
in
really.
for the ride.
It feels good.
Yeah? Good. Awesome. Cool. And if it serves you, you can always close your eyes. Once you have the movements, no need to watch along, because really it's more about what you're feeling rather than what you see. As long as you start to create that openness in the lower back, starting to lubricate the spine.
Quick
Excellent.
question while we are stretching.
Yes, please.
If someone wants to sit on their heels and do this movement, is that still okay?
Absolutely. As long as they can keep mobile in the spine. It's
Right.
sometimes I find if my knees are underneath me or whatever, it's easier to topple over. We've got a nice
Okay.
wide base. Some of us more than others. That's not a judgment call. But
That's
we
not
want
a
to
problem
keep
for me
ourselves.
either, but-
Absolutely.
But
Cool.
I might just give that a try because my ankles are freezing.
Absolutely. We only got a couple more circles, but
Oh,
take the
sure.
modification. Perfect. Absolutely. So about 3 more circles, you can start to slow down the momentum and then come back to your center. You can open your eyes again to see what we're doing next, which is we're going to interlace our fingers and bring your pinkies to what we call the occipital ridge. It's that simple crease between the neck and the skull. As you inhale, you're going to look your heart up and take the elbows out wide. I call this offering your heart up to the sky. You're just shining a little bit of your own sunlight to the ceiling. And then exhale, you're going to look down towards your navel, squeezing your elbows in. And now we are coordinating the breath here, so as you inhale, you'll look up and stretch the elbows out. And then as you exhale, drawing in towards your center. Let's take this 3 more times. Big breath in, shine your heart up. Exhale, drawing back. Twice more, please. Full breath in, create the stretch. Exhale, finding the rounding in the back, particularly the lower back last time. Breathing in. And exhale to draw back. Fantastic. You can release your hands down. We'll take the right hand, just tent it off to your side, and then take your left hand up and over your head. So here we're just going to look up towards the ceiling, maybe towards your fingertips, and rather than just completely collapsing over to the right, find yourself lifting and lengthening on the left side of your body. Gaze, as I said, up towards the ceiling or maybe even towards the fingers. We're going to take 3 active breaths. There's no coordination here, but we do want to send the breath into the left side ribs, creating that stretch. So 2 more times, like a nice morning stretch. Deep inhale. Exhale it out, and again, please, big breath in. And breathing it out. Simply switch sides. Take the left fingers, tent them off by your sides, right hand up and overhead. Looking towards the sky, softening the shoulder, creating that stretch in through the right side body. Again, thinking up and over rather than just collapsing. We don't want to feel any collapse in the left side of the body. How we doing, ladies? Taking a breath in.
Try not to hold my breath.
Exhale. Yeah, it's hard because when the spine feels compromised, we tend to hold our breath. That's just
Right.
you trying to keep your spine safe. But as long as you keep these deep, full breaths, your spine will be safe. One last time, please. Deep inhale. And then coming back to your center, let's take that right hand, reach it across to the left knee. Take your left hand back behind you. Can't see viewers, but we're bringing our fingertips basically by our sacrum.
Is
That's
that
the
your
diamond
twist?
plate above your butt crack.
Love
Yeah.
it.
You can be on fingerprints or palm, whatever works the best. Everybody look over your back shoulder, breathe tall into the heart, and then exhale to get a nice squeeze. I'm looking forward, ladies, but you keep looking back. Take a breath in, get tall. Nice exhale all the way out, belly pulls in. One more time, breathing tall. And a good squeeze. Release that twist. Take it to the other side. Left hand over to the knee, right hand back behind you. Sitting up tall, breathing into your heart space, and then looking over your back shoulder. I like to look through the corner of my eye, get the eyeballs to stretch as well as your spine. 2 more breaths. Deep inhale. Giving a good squeeze and looking back 1 more time. And then release that out. So we're going to come onto our hands and knees here. You can rock forward or you can swing your legs off to one side, whatever works best for you. So we call this a simple tabletop. We'll use this opportunity to just rock a little bit side to side, warming up the wrists. We're going to take a few downward facing dogs in a moment. So we want to make sure we move slowly through the wrists so we don't create any carpal tunnel. I thought I had wrist problems for years. I just found out I wasn't giving my wrist time to warm up correctly. And then I was incorrectly using my hands, which we'll talk about in a moment. But let's turn the fingers off to the side. You might start with the heels of your palms off of the ground as you rock side to side. And then depending on how flexible you are, you can start to lower them down. And maybe you don't swing over quite so far to one side. You want to feel the stretch in the front sides of your wrist, and it's up to you to decide how deep to go with that stretch. Couple more breaths. Again, no super coordination with breath and movement, but make sure you're not holding your breath. And then we'll take that 1 more level deep. Again, you're going to turn your fingertips back towards your knees. Now, this could be really intense for some of us, so if you'll look, my heels of palms are way up off the ground. And then we start to rock forward and back more with this. Now, as you're feeling your wrists open, you can really rock back. And if you're feeling that your wrists are super open, you can even introduce the heels of the palm onto the ground. Just look out in front of you a couple feet. We want to keep the back of the neck long. And we are moving slow with breath. It's a little bit of a moving meditation. And then we can take our fingers back to the sides of the mat, again creating that side rock, side to side. Nice stretch. Yeah, well, for the rug for you. I always speak in mat terminology. I teach a few classes where nobody's on a mat, and I have to be very creative. Teaching outdoors as well as a little creative.
Oh, that's right.
Lift your leg towards the back wall. That's not there. Awesome. So from here, we're going to take 3 cow-cats. So as you inhale, look up to the sky. Imagine you have a flagpole on your hiney and you're sticking it as high as you possibly can, looking up. And then exhale, rounding, looking back. We did a similar sort of motion when we were seated. So inhale, look forward, drop the belly, stick your tail feather high. Exhale, looking back, rounding into the back body. We'll take that 3 more times. Inhale, full. Exhale back, so you notice we're coordinating breath and movement again. Twice more. Inhale. Exhale, drawing back. Bring your chin towards your chest. Last one. Big breath in. And exhale, draw back. Go ahead and curl your toes under behind you. We're going to lift our hips high and back to a downward facing dog. So this is pretty intense. You're in an upside down V shape. You can start to move around here. Pedaling out through your heels, you moonwalk from leg to leg, sway your hips side to side, give the head a shake, give it a nod. Make sure that you are breathing. Again, we're not really coordinating the breath yet, but we are breathing nice, deep, and full. So this I find very helpful, especially if you feel any stagnant energy or any sort of tension creeping up in your body. Let's take a big breath in through the nose. Breathe it out your mouth. And take that again. Deep breath in. Create a little sigh. No one can hear you except for us 3. One more time. Big breath in. Give it a sigh. And then take another breath in and flutter your lip. Crazy noises rock. We're going to walk our hands back to our feet to forward fold at the back of the mat. So take your time to get there. Bend your knees a lot here. Grab for opposite elbows and drop your head down. So a lot of us, you were talking about your lower back being tight. A lot of us who feel tension in the lower back, when we're forward folding, we tend to straighten out the legs, which actually puts so much pull on the lower back. If you bend your knees, then you're splitting the stretch between hamstrings and lower back. Now just make sure you're dropping the head and take a couple sways side to side. Awesome. Yeah, it feels really good. And the more that you can exhale and really pull your belly in deep. I like to imagine drawing the skin of my thighs and the skin of my belly, like I'm pulling it into the hip creases. You'll really find a nice juicy relax in your back body. So let's do one more of those sighs here. Take a nice deep breath in.
Give it a good sigh out the mouth. And then we're going to start to bring our hands down to the earth. And then walking your palm over palm, you'll make your way back into that downward facing dog shape. Excellent. So let's breathe our shoulders over our wrist. We call this plank pose. And then slowly lower your knees down to the ground. Lower your chest between the thumbs, but try to keep your butt way high up in the sky. Hug your elbows to the side. We call this Ashtangasana. Ashta means 8. You've got 2 hands, 2 knees, 2 feet, a chin, and a chest on the ground. From here, we're going to peel forward to Cobra pose. So slither onto your pelvis. Lift your heart up. Hug your shoulders away from your ears. Keep the elbows squeezing in. How we doing? Looks great. And then we're going to press back to what we call child's pose. Knees wide, hips back on the heels. Toes touch. Let your forehead tap the ground just for a moment. And then curl your toes under, hips high and back. Downward facing dog. Take a quick pedal out through your legs.
We were going into child's forever.
No way. We don't have that much time. On your own time, all right? I charge by the hour, so you don't want to charge me for a really long child's pose. Excellent. So next breath in, bend your knees, look forward, and we're going to walk to the front of the mat this time. Back to a forward fold, parallel feet. Doesn't matter how close or far. I recommend a little wider in the feet. Makes room for the belly, and then you can just drop the head. From here, we're going to roll up one vertebrae at a time, all the way up to stand. Last one up wins. You want to really take the time to stack up your vertebrae. And when you come to the top, take a moment, shrug your shoulders to the ears and down your back. We'll take that a couple goes, really taking time to articulate through the shoulders. And then take it the opposite direction. Shrug them up to the ears and forward. And again, one more time. And then just let your arms hang at your sides. Take a nice breath in and out through the nose. Great. Let's reach our hands forward to the front. And then reaching up towards the sky, look at your thumbs for a moment, and then grab for opposite elbows. You're going to bend your arms, grabbing opposite elbows. Let's all tip over towards the right and look up towards the left. So the back of your head is basically resting on the bicep, and you're looking towards the ceiling. Send again the breath into your left side lungs. Take a deep inhale. And then exhale, tip back through your center. We're going to go up to the middle, ladies, and then tipping over to the other side. Nice side stretch through the body. Take another big stretchy breath into your side lungs. And then come back to your center. Reach the hands back up to the sky. Look up to the hands. Take a breath in. We're going to take a swan dive into a forward fold. You can reach your hands forward. Take your time. Awesome. Let everything drop. And then inhale. We're going to roll back up to stand. Take your time to come all the way back up. Take your arms up and over your head. Press the palm.
I'm enjoying it so much.
Exhale, reach your hands forward. It feels good to create this awareness of breath and movement. So let's go all the way back up, reaching up. Take the arms up and over your head. And then exhale, come all the way back down. Beautiful. So we're going to take what we call
3 minutes.
a half flat back. Lift your spine halfway up. Exhale, plant your hands, step your left foot back to a lunge. Take a breath here, just the left foot.
Sorry.
Take a breath, that's okay, I'm going to get you next time. Take a breath in, look forward. Exhale, go ahead and look back. Straighten through your front leg, only as straight as your leg goes. So it doesn't need to go completely straight, looking back towards your back foot. As you inhale, draw forward again, put the bend in the knee. And then exhale to draw back. Let's take that one more time. Inhale, draw forward, look forward, keep the back of your neck long. And then exhale to draw back. Excellent. Let's rebend the knee. Take your left hand onto the ground. Take your right hand up to the sky. We call this twisted lunge. So we're going to hang out here. Just take a breath. Really try to touch the ceiling with your fingertips. Keep pressing your right foot, that's your front foot, into the ground and engage your core so this left wrist stays nice and light. And I said before, you want to make sure that you're pressing into fingerprints and knuckles to keep that left wrist light. This way we don't feel that collapse, that discomfort in the wrist. Take one more breath in, big deep inhale, and then lower that top hand down. Fantastic. Drop the back knee, please. Untuck the toes. Take your arms up to the sky, big breath in. Exhale it out. One more time, big breath in. And then lower your hands down. Curl your back toes under, lift the back knee. We're going to step back forward to a forward fold at the front of the mat. Excellent. On your inhale, just take that half lift again. Bring your hands onto the shins, lengthen through. As you exhale, put your hands down. Step your right foot only back to the lunge. Again, we're taking these 3 pulsations, so look forward. And exhale to draw back. Straighten through the front leg only as much as you can. Inhale, look forward. Exhale to draw back. One more time, breathing in. Fullness of breath into the heart. And exhale to draw back. On your next inhale, bend the front knee. Plant the right hand. Breathe your left hand up for the spinal twist. Try to touch the ceiling so there's a lot of energy in that top hand. Pull the belly in. Core stays supported. Press into your left foot. Excellent. Take one more deep inhale. Lower your top hand down. Drop your back knee. Untuck the toes. Take your arms up to the sky. Here's our little bitty back bend. This is great for the lower back. Deep inhale. Exhale, go a little bit deeper. And then lower your hands down to the mat. Step both your feet back to a plank pose. From here, just lowering your knees down. You can take them wide into your child's pose. Hips back on the heels. Let your forehead tap onto the ground. Take a big breath in through your nose. Breathe it out the mouth. Excellent. So walk back onto your hands and knees. And we're going to come back onto a seat. You can just swing your butt off to one side, legs go off to the side. Bring the soles of your feet together, knees open like a book. So we're going to take one forward fold here, hang on to your ankles as much as bringing them as close to your groin as you like. And then take a breath into your heart. Exhale, allow yourself to melt over your legs. You can use a little pressure of elbows to inner thighs. Let the chin drop towards the chest. One more big breath. Take your time to come back up. And then simply cross your legs, just like we were at the beginning. Excellent. Let your hands rest on your knees.
That felt good.
Yeah.
To our viewers out there, if you enjoyed watching Chris teach and watching us stretch, I'm sure we were very entertaining.
You were wonderful.
I'd like you to join us
We're back in
again.
here.
Chris has promised to be back with us. So this is going to be for this week. This is this week's episode. Chris, that felt amazing. Thank you so
glad.
much
Yeah,
for being
my
here
pleasure.
with us.
Absolutely.
I really appreciate
I
it.
love what we did for
And
the back.
Great.
It feels good,
I
right?
have back problem, yes.
And
Yeah.
Josiane, thanks for being here as well. Sergio,
welcome.
our director, thank you so much
Thank you,
for flying
Sergio.
solo. And Ryan, our facilitator. Thanks to everybody. You are watching Yoga Express. Sergio, is it okay for us to do our own thing? We're fine. Thank you so
All
much.
done.
You did good. Is this the
You
first
better
time
start.
you've gone solo?
Yeah, but no, Tony's in there also.
Oh, Tony's come. Okay, well,
Okay, you better start this thing in
We
5
went
minutes.
over time.
that's okay. But we got the credits in, right? On time?
Well,
No?
So I'll pick up the pace. Wow.
I mean, you can take a look
No,
at
it
it.
wasn't you. I
Yeah.
have to watch the
I
clock.
think you better start in a 2 3
So,
minutes.
okay, let me understand. Maybe because I didn't
Because
understand.
we have to be out by
you-
4.
when you
Look at
say
the time.
1 minute left, is it 1 minute for
We
the
needed to
whole
be done by
show?
what?
Yeah.
We have
Oh,
to,
you're done
Yeah,
by
yeah,
4.
because someone else is coming in the studio.
Ah, I see.
1 to 3.
Okay.
That's fine. I
Okay,
love
so
what
in
we
the
did.
next
I have
episode,
a,
what we'll do is when
to
you
tell you
say
very, very briefly,
say
I had a
what
bad
you say,
surgery on
but
my
I'll
foot.
understand
Because of that, I could not put my weight on the
No, I
left,
know.
and I
There's
deviate
so
my
much
spine.
going
So
on.
now I have to
Mhm.
correct it.
So when you say it's 3 minutes,
Nobody in my
minutes
family
for
has a
the whole show,
scoliosis,
so
but I
basically
developed
Chris
myself
will
by
understand
I
that
get
it's
this
2 minutes left
nuisance.
for
So I have
or
to.
2.5,
That's why I was
and then
asking you
go
about
to the 30.
posture that I can help me to straighten my back. I
Yeah.
have to do it. I
Yeah.
sleep with a towel to push my spine back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's helpful to kind of push it back in the other way.
Yeah.
This stuff that we were doing in the beginning, this
Yes.
stuff, basically you move your spine through sort of 5 ways.
Yes.
This way, this way, this way, this
Yes.
way, and
So
this way,
remember to
this
do
way.
that at home.
And the more that you can, especially the sides that tight, stretch that side out even
And
longer.
it's on my waist that is wrong.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
deviated. Because I
It
didn't
starts
put-
well. It starts in the pelvis, and then the spine tries to accommodate for the
Yeah.
fact that the
The
pelvis.
pelvis is okay, it's just above it on the waist. At the waist, I can feel it because I have more space on the left than on the right, and I have to correct that. I have to keep it straight.
Yeah.
It's I push the towel here to, it says about 20 minutes. I was looking it up on the internet. 20 minutes would be sufficient for correction if I had therapy.
Right.
See, but I have to do the exercise that you're giving us is wonderful.
Yeah.
I love it.
Absolutely. And if you could even take time to go through each one a
Yes.
few times,
I'll
you
do it
know,
at home,
ideally
I'll
twice or
remember
3,
that.
it'll be,
Thank
take
you,
a copy of the
Give
DVD.
me some more. Give me some more
Yeah,
exercise.
yeah, absolutely.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We all have a kind of a
I have lower
balance
back stuff too.
somewhere.
I have sciatica. So
You do?
my
The sciatic is, there's the warrior
Yeah.
posture is good for that. And you have a, see if you can buy that seat, especially that you can put on your own regular seat at home.
Yeah.
You know, the one with the
the
opening
center
in the
groove,
center.
yeah.
It looks like a toilet seat, but
Yeah.
it's not.
Right.
But because it doesn't give you any pressure on your coccyx, which is the last
Right.
bone that you have
Mhm.
on the spine.
Hey, you know a lot about anatomy.
Oh yeah, I do.
That's great. How come? Just
I,
from your own learning about stuff.
yeah, I'm doing